This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Beautiful sunshine, a glorious day here in Chicago. Amy Jacobson here. Bruce Wolf.
Hello.
Hi, Bruce. Sitting in for Dan Proft, and you've been here on a busy news week, that's for sure.
Oh,
a lot going on in North Korea with Kim Jong-un and President Trump, and where they're going to have their meeting. President Trump saying yesterday that he wants to go straight into the lion's den.
There's something that I like about it because you're there. You're actually there, where if things work out, there's a great celebration to be had on the site.
Yeah, and, he wants to be there. I don't know if that's the best idea because there's really you're going to back out into South Korea. I don't know if it's a safety issue. They still haven't locked down a date. We're learning this morning that Kim Jong-un is excited about that idea of meeting in the DMZ.
Of course he would.
The safe house there.
It's too close for comfort.
Yes.
He loves it. He's getting recognition. It's great. And he's going to get to keep his nuclear weapons.
Yes. When one person, what part of President Trump's visit to North Korea is also going to try and get the release of 3 Americans who are still being held captive there in North Korea. And one person who's pretty much our nation's top private diplomat is Reverend Jesse Jackson. And he joins us this morning on our Turnkey.pro answer line. Good morning, Reverend Jackson. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Well, I mean, I just want to remind people of what you've done in the past to help fellow Americans overseas. In 1983, you traveled to Syria to secure the release of a captured American pilot, Navy Lieutenant Robert Goodman. In June of 1984, you negotiated the release of 22 Americans who were being held in Cuba. In 1999, remember during the Kosovo War, you were with Governor Blagojevich then, and you secured the release of 3 American POWs. Have you been planning on a trip to North Korea for some time, and when do you think that your plans will come to fruition?
We have been planning at the height of the crisis. We met with the North Korean ambassador, trying to get the release of Bay, an American who was there. But also we met with South Korean ambassador, because I believe that when you release prisoners, it sends a message, an opportunity for dialogue, and that's all that we were trying to do.
Reverend Jackson, we're having a hard time hearing you. Are you on a speakerphone? Or is there any way you
I'm off now.
Okay. Thank you so much. Can you repeat? Because I couldn't understand what you were saying. Can you just repeat for us your efforts to try to go to North Korea?
Kenneth Bay in South North Korea. We're trying to get him and finally.
Not to laugh.
Cue the green eggs and ham tape from Saturday Night Live.
You do not like green eggs and ham? I do not like them.
That wasn't Amy's
Sam,
question.
I am.
That was not Amy's question.
I could not, would not on a boat. I will not with a goat. I will not eat them in the rain. I will not eat them on a train. Not in the dark, not on a tree, not in a car. You let me be.
You better get the Cat in the Hat comes back, too, because we're having a hard time getting
I do
Reverend
not like
Jackson.
them in a box. I do not like them with a fox. I will not eat them in a house. I do not like them with a mouth.
Who did the jibbity rat-a-tat-tat imitation
I do not like them
on Saturday
here
Night Live?
or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham.
What year was that? It's got to be in the mid-'90s.
It had to be, but it's amazing. I think we've reconnected with Reverend Jackson. Right. Hello, Reverend Jackson. How are you?
You're more than that. What a contrast.
I know.
Well, we had
to fill time till we reconnected with you. So as you were saying, you're third time's a charm, but you're planning on going to North Korea when?
Yeah, and we're not sure. We met with some Methodists and Presbyterian bishops. Believe it or not, there are some Christians in North Korea. There's been some openness to dialogue for some time. We thought that the back and forth name calling between President Trump and Kim Jong-un was just a disastrous confrontation that, with both their hands on the trigger finger, it could spell disaster. But one reason we must be concerned about Korea, among others, we lost so many Americans in that conflict. 3 million Americans, 3 million Koreans, North Koreans were killed. They burned virtually every town in North Korea. Half the human race is Asian, half of them are Chinese. So when there's instability in Asia, it affects the whole world in a very direct kind of way. And we think that these moves lately toward North and South Korea family reunion is a big deal, and it's very positive.
Reverend Jackson, I don't doubt your intent is good, but have you gotten the permission from the Trump administration to engage in these negotiations?
Well, I would not go as a representative of the Trump administration. We go on a humanitarian mission.
Could I ask you this? Are you technically in violation of the Logan Act, which criminalizes?
No.
You're not in violation of the Logan Act?
No, we never. When we went to bring Americans home from Cuba, Yugoslavia, Iraq, the Gambia, Colombia, Cuba, we never were.
Well, but does the Logan Act criminalize negotiation by unauthorized persons with foreign governments having a dispute with the United States?
We do not represent ourselves as a government, but as a humanitarian, and as I mentioned, ministers and citizens can appeal for the release of people, communications, which is perfectly within the law.
No, I don't know that it's within law. By the way, the Logan Act hasn't been prosecuted in the last couple of hundred years.
Not gonna
but the thing is wouldn't
case.
you agree that the Obama administration holdovers who went after Mike Flynn or whoever were being ridiculous in trying to do that? Because they could go after you. The administration could go after you right now for doing that.
Well, they could. I wish they wouldn't, because our intents are always noble. And if we can do that, there are several South Koreans held prisoner in North Korea. Several Americans held captive in North Korea. If he would release them, it would be a good gesture for all involved, so that no one could see harm in seeking the release of prisoners. I would not be trying to negotiate some business deal or some private deal or some governmental deal.
Well, I'm
no,
sure
he's just trying to free the 3 Americans that are still there, and then South Koreans.
Which is basically acting as an agent of the United States
not.
of America. Look, I'm not
He's
arguing. I think the
past.
Logan Act is ridiculous, and I think the Obama administration
Well, here's the thing, Reverend Jackson. I'm like you. I was very nervous at the tweeting that was going on between President Obama and then Kim Jong-un's, whose button is bigger and all this. And I did think, oh my gosh, we might possibly have a nuclear war. But now things seem to have settled down. President Trump and Kim Jong-un are going to be meeting sometime this month, probably within the next 2 weeks. Does that give you any hope or give you any, does it calm you down?
It does give me hope. It does give me hope. The U.S. has such a heavy military investment in that area. Speaking of his having to denuclearize, we have so much infrastructure, we would have to cut back on as well. We have tremendous financial military investment in that area. I think that was military.
I think we need the green eggs and ham tape again.
I think
we've lost you, Reverend Jackson. Unfortunately.
He
there you go.
Immediately
there you go.
Went for it, and so when I thought that the Olympic gesture was the right gesture. The follow-up has just been good, because he now feels he will not be run over as Iraq and Libya was, and from a position of power, he can negotiate trade relations. It's better to be discussing trade than discussing missiles.
Reverend Jackson, can I ask a quick question here? The NFL draft was held over the weekend, and a couple of years ago it was held in Chicago. And this was after Rahm Emanuel had quashed the Laquan McDonald video. And as you know, had people known, black voters especially, what was in that video, Rahm Emanuel probably would not have been elected a mayor of Chicago again. Why didn't you try to organize a boycott of the NFL draft in Chicago, get top-tier athletes not to show up? I mean, heck, the NBA didn't have its All-Star game in North Carolina because of a transgender bathroom issue. Aren't the civil rights of blacks equal to or greater than those of transgenders? Why didn't you try to organize a boycott back then?
Well, again, can't do everything. Plus, I didn't see that as an effective way to address the situation. Just that simple, really.
Good. Who are you backing for the mayoral race? Is there any candidate? We know that there's about 7 right now that are going to be challenging Emmanuel.
Very premature. Right now, we really are focused on we found out, that, amen, that the after almost 5,000 lynchings between 1880 and 1950, that we still don't have an federal anti-lynching law. That should be in today's Chicago Sun-Times article I wrote in today's paper. Secondly, that across the South, 4 million blacks are unregistered, and 4 million high school seniors are unregistered, focused a lot on voter registration. And I'm trying to pull us together. We've been pulled so far apart that we've learned to survive. But we must live together. That's our mission. We must live together.
And speaking of living together, what do you think of Kanye West embracing President Trump?
Well, that's his choice.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I have a different choice, but I respect his choice.
Well, who do the Democrats have on the bench that will challenge Trump in 2020? Is there any candidate that that could need some grooming or that has a potential to take down Trump?
It's premature for me to call names because it'd be like endorsing someone. I just don't think it's appropriate for me to do that. I don't think that's my priority.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Reverend Jackson, for your time, and good luck.
Thank you, Reverend Jackson.
If and when you do travel to North Korea, and hopefully you can meet Kim Jong-un.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.